pass, but they're not impressed with you unless you can match their stride in class. This may not sound too diplomatic, but I cannot be more emphatic as I tell you, it's problematic when you do less than your best. Especially when it's because you put your brilliance on pause for the mere peer applause it draws from a so-called friend doing less. Quit playing, I'm saying, you know that you are great, and we know it, so show it. Don't make our heroes wait. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. For those of you who already do the things that make us proud, your nation in appreciation says thanks to you out loud. Your schoolmates should imitate the way you tap your potential. Let me try to convince them why their effort is essential. Our men and women in uniform, before, during, and after Desert Storm, always perform above the norm, anywhere and everywhere on the planet. They need to follow our heroes' lead, but they cannot lead if they cannot read. Allow me, please, to plant this seed. Don't take freedom for granted. I'm serious, I'm furious to see U.S. schools behind. Remove the clatter, it's just a matter of our making up our minds. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. We believe in you, warriors, protect you to do what you must to rise. Please do your part. Please start before another warrior dies. In this parade, please wave your grades at the brave who fight for you. If you don't gain, they fight in vain. Show them what you can do. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. They sacrifice for you. Show them what you can do. Please show them what you can do. Please.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades on KUAW.org, the academic patriotism program that is dedicated to veterans and serious secondary scholars. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now, here is our host, civilian urban educator, Carl Boyd.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades. This is actually December 28th. We are on the last Saturday of the year. And we have come into this studio full of all kind of joy and talking about things that have gone on. And let me tell you how good God is. It is interesting, and I will not say the gentleman's name. I would not want anybody to make any mistakes about his absence. We have a very, very special guest, and he had an emergency. He called and indicated that he would not be here this afternoon. So we can look forward to his being with us first Saturday in January. If that occurs, he'll be on with the Smart Club. But the reason I am so joyful this particular last Saturday of the month is because God gave us the opportunity to say some thank yous that we would not have been saying had our guest appeared, because he has so much substance and he is a true veteran war hero. So we'll look forward to that again. Won't mention his name right now, but you will be very happy when he comes to the studio. But this is what is interesting, DeQuay Wilson.
Yes, sir.
I was coming in thinking about how good God is to give an opportunity to say these thank yous. But among the things that I have been thankful for is the fact that a movie was produced and it deals with the 6888, and these are the ladies who had to handle the mail during wartime. And I come in, and what are you and Brother Louis George Walker discussing?
The 6888. And the fact that we actually had one of those ladies physically in our studio that graced us with her presence and told us about what they had done long before the movie even came out.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, we didn't realize they were producing a movie. I don't think
No.
that we had any discussion about that.
Absolutely not.
And now it is something that, it just fits so well. Because what we want to do on Wave Your Grades, that definitely pertains to students. It is about history. So that theme is so wonderfully knit together in terms of our looking forward to starting the year, first Saturday in January. We're going to kick it off, and Wave Your Grades is going to be a different kind of program in the year 2025. When the gentleman called and was not able to make it, I was looking for some material that I might recall. So I was going back into programs we've done. And one of the programs that I saw, I was in this seat. And DeQuay Wilson, I promise you that the gentleman in this seat, Carl R. Boyd, was looking at the camera and sounding like this. And yes, we're going to do something today that I think is very... And I said to myself, do I look that tired when I am talking about something about which I am indeed enthusiastic? Because one of the things that God gives the opportunity to do this afternoon, again, that we would not have had, is to cite some of the programs that we did during the year 2024 and some other things during 2024. And I want to talk about how enthusiastically we are going to approach the year starting next Saturday, first Saturday in 2025. And one of the things that I had done, there are some people who are with us who are familiar with Eric Wesson's publication, The Next Page KC. And this gives me an opportunity now. I was going to mention it maybe lightly, but with a little more detail, to talk about one of the columns that I wrote for The Next Page KC, as a matter of fact, last week. And DeQuay, the title of that column the title is, You Are Not Alone. Now, let me tell you why I am saying to all of the people who have read and might read that column, you are not alone. I have been hacked, smacked, jacked. I mean, absolutely. My technology owes you an apology. I have missed much correspondence. I have missed some opportunities for meetings, conferences. I don't know everything that I have missed. The reason that this is such a blessing is to be able to ask of those who have any need to contact. I can offer that the phone number, 816-469-9925, my cell number as of now, makes me reachable until I change the phone, because I have been having problems even with my emails and my texts and phone, computer, all of that. I'm telling you, 2025 is going to be a different kind of year in terms not only of the way that we communicate, but and by the way, I said God is good. DeQuay Wilson happens to be a member of the board for Stoots for Boots, and we are going to approach the year with a great deal of enthusiasm as it pertains to helping America to understand, for instance, the importance of the Department of Education. Helping America to understand that if students don't have any other reason to learn, they ought to learn in honor of those who serve. We've been doing this for how many years now? 2014, 10 years, coming up on 11 years. And the reason I am so enthusiastic now is because of the enthusiasm of the board of directors, those whom we are going to contact, and some of the things that we have talked about doing 2025. So for that special guest this afternoon, whom we will see next week or certainly within the next 2 weeks. Thank you for giving this opportunity for us to say some other things that I should have prepared anyway. For instance, DeQuay Wilson, it makes all kinds of sense to say that there are some thank yous from 2024 since this is the last Saturday in that year. And I think that I probably would have said in a very general way, but now in a more specific way. You can identify with this. W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center is someone to whom we can say thank you so very, very much. When we think about the opportunity to come into the studio and not just to have engineers present, but the founder of KUAW, who has been with us every Saturday, if not for the full show, get us started or to finish, whatever that might be. So in behalf of Stoots for Boots, a very, very, very profound thank you to the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center and the founder of KUAW, Louis George Walker. Now, if we're talking about regulars, then obviously we'll talk about the Smart Club, because those young people have been very loyal as it relates to coming on the program and discussing with our special guests whatever that topic might be. And I think that that says quite a bit for young people's versatility to be such that they can come on the program and whatever that special guest is discussing, they can have some input. Now, here's what's also interesting, because Valencia Broaddus, who is the sponsor of the Smart Club, and her co-sponsor, Paris Holly, bring us young people with an attitude of being versatile enough to adjust to the discussion and to be honest enough. If it is something about which they know little, they will listen and they will ask intelligent questions. But a definite thank you to the Smart Club, Attorney Valencia Broaddus, Paris Holly. And interestingly enough, I was going to talk about some of the programs that we did over the year 2024. And as I was looking at some of the young people who have participated, then I've had to say Heaven Heart. So part of the Smart Club, also part of production. And so that gives us an opportunity to say that. Now, having said that, and having made the apology, not adequately, not yet, but at least to the degree that this lends to it, for being out of touch technically, thank you, God, for giving me this opportunity, because I cannot say what I've missed. So that brings me to one of our guests, because here's what else I wanted to do today, since we have this opportunity, was talk about some of our 2024 guests. And what I was getting ready to say is that one of our very special guests was Anthony Butler. Anthony Butler founded VIP, Violence I Prevent. And the reason his name came to mind, I was going to say it anyway, not in any particular order, but the reason it came in this order is because here's one of the things, DeQuay, that is very difficult to measure. It is very difficult to measure how many unfortunate incidents have been prevented. How do you measure we stopped these things from happening? But Anthony Butler does such a great job in terms of what he does. And by the way, you will recall that when he was on the program, he shared with us parts of his presentation. Very dynamic. And I think that we can pretty much suggest that he's doing a very good job on motivating young people towards doing the right thing. And that being just as hip, just as cool. Now, remember how old I am. I don't know what the term is for young people today, but that being just as popular as those who are playing the tough role. So, here again, opportunities to say thank you. So please whenever you think of something or something that you want to say, because when we got into the 688, I mean, you and Brother Walker and I are very enthusiastic about that. So jump right in.
Well, first and foremost, of course, first and foremost, I want to thank God for waking me and you up this morning, allowing us the opportunity to be together in this room.
Yes.
But also, I want to thank Louis George Walker for opening up the studio to us, allowing us to engage in the conversation that we do, but also engage in the conversation that we do off air. I want to thank. We were having some other conversation before you got here.
Okay.
We were talking, one of the things that Mr. Walker and I were talking about was investing. So I have to thank Eric Wesson because he doesn't know this about me, but I was listening to him in a Black Agenda Group meeting some years ago.
Yes.
He talked about investing, and it is because of him that I started investing. Then we had David Whalen on, and
Wow.
he was talking to the kids about investing in things that you
Exactly.
use. And I listened to that little nugget. So I'd like to thank anyone who shared little nuggets. So now I invest in things that I use. It just makes sense if I use them. So I want to thank those two gentlemen for sharing those little nuggets with me when they didn't realize I was listening. I want to thank Wonderful Wanda.
You beat me too.
For sharing you with us and our community as a whole, because I honestly believe that you could not be who you are or do what you do if you did not have her behind you.
Believe that. I mean, thank you.
Just right off the top of my head, those are some of the people that I want to thank today. Thank right now in this moment, and I'm sure some others. Thank Diane Charity. I have to thank her because she continues to guide me in the right direction. She continues to be a shoulder and an ear for me when I need one, and some of those things that sometimes some people don't have, and she does that for me. So those are some people that I want to thank right now in this moment. And again, maybe some more will come to me before the show is over, but those are some people that I definitely want to thank right now.
And obviously, you and I are thanking each other all the time because we have that kind of relationship. And I don't want it to sound like obligatorily you say thank you, but I want to thank you very much, not only because of what you do, but the attitude with which you do it, because it's very difficult to carry on if someone is not sober and honest with you. So you make what we attempt to do as far as a broadcast is concerned integrous because you are very honest, you're very candid, and that is so very, very greatly appreciated. So this is indeed the last Saturday in the year 2024. You and I are with Stoots for Boots. Let me remind those who are listening, those who join us, that Stoots for Boots is referred to as an organization because we attempt to put into action what we are thinking and talking about as it relates to motivating American students to strive for excellence in honor of our troops. And we don't want to make it sound like trite. This is some real stuff, because when we look at the political climate that we are experiencing in these days, and the lack of seriousness about what basic curricula mean in the United States of America, there has to be some entity, there has to be some person, some people who are going to stand up for the necessity, not just the desire, the necessity for American students to do better in education than we have been doing in light of how we compare with other education systems around the world. So it is not as if you and I, DeQuay Wilson and Carl Boyd, or DeQuay Wilson, Carl Boyd, Diane Charity, Gerald Caldwell, Ruth Jones, LaFay Daniels, are heroic because we're with Stoots for Boots. But our prayer is that we will attract attention in a way that will help serious people about education know not only that they can do something, but the imperative is that they do something. When I think about parents and parents' role of where their students' education is concerned, parents do not have to have degrees in education in order to help their children learn. There are certain habits that need to be formed, and of course, my generation is always talking about the way it used to be done back in the day, all of those kinds of things, some of which is actually true. But this is not a time in American history where it is impossible for parents to act like parents. This is not a time in American history when people who are neighbors don't have to be neighborly, because we talk about how it was back in those days, but now people are all closed off. We do not have to have a society where we are afraid that it is so violent that our children cannot have authentic experiences because of the danger that lies therein. We have a particular responsibility when we talk about the philosophy and practice of academic patriotism, which is a book for Students for Boots. When we talk about that, these are very lofty goals or titles that someone might want to pick up and assign to a research paper. No, no, no. This stuff is very real. How much can you do when you have children who are studying quadratic equations and who are studying towards helping from a geographical standpoint, climate change and all of these. I'm a parent. I don't know anything about all of these. No, 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 no. Do your children have a place to sleep comfortably tonight? If you are not able to provide for them, for instance, as it relates to just, quote, being hungry, unquote, can we find entities that will help do that for the children? Can we create a climate in a household where the parents actually have control over what kinds of media to which their children are exposed? I mean, it's one thing to talk about how terrible things are. But back in the day, during the civil rights movement's 60s, there was a quote, a statement, the paralysis of analysis. Now, I may not be able to articulate particularly exactly what that means. I can only tell you what it means to me. And when I talk about the paralysis of analysis, the two words are paralysis. So that means the inability to go forward or to do something. I'm paralyzed. Of analysis. Why analysis? Because sometimes we become so enamored with our ability to analyze the problem that we never move on to the solution. Therefore, it is the paralysis of analysis. So we can spend a lot of time analyzing what's going on around us. As a matter of fact, all of us know that as it relates to this recent election, there are many people who are saying, why did this happen? Whatever that happened might be. It is on the federal level or it might be the local school board. But when you ask yourself, why did this happen? Then you look for all of these different reasons. Don't become paralyzed with letting people know, I know the reason. No, no, no. What are you going to do? So Students for Boots says, just in case you don't have any idea what to do, allow us on Wave Your Grades, Saturdays, 1 until 2 p.m., KUAW.org. DeQuay Wilson, you and I know someone who knows something about KUAW.org. Oh, there he is. He just happened to be in this studio at this time. And what we were saying, Brother Lewis George Walker, is we are going to approach 2025 with a lot more enthusiasm, a lot more excitement, a lot more details, all of that. But since you walked in the room right on time, tell us some things other than Students for Boots, but some things you're excited about where KUAW.org is concerned.
All right. Well, I agree with you that we go out into the new year on KUAW Radio and the Black Family Technology Awareness Association with that enthusiasm and anticipation of the great things that are going to be happening in this coming year. There's a lot of things that are going on. We have things in the works, and we're hoping to roll them out there. One of the things that we're doing is a revamp of our web page.
Okay.
So we're going to have a new web page with new ways for you to communicate to us. And also, we're going to include some merchandise on the page.
Yes, sir.
So if you want to support KUAW Radio by getting a KUAW or a Black Family Technology Awareness T-shirt or hoodie or something like that, we're going to be having those online that you'll be able to order right from there. One of our members, or I should say friends of KUAW, has graciously let her employees work and develop this webpage for us. So
Wow.
we've been networking. We also have had some young people in on our robotics program
Yes.
that did good this
Yes.
year. And through a grant from the Digital Inclusion Fund, we had a basic computer class for senior citizens, 55 and up,
Wow.
and was able to present them with a computer,
My
at the
goodness.
end of the class.
When
So
may I enroll?
Is that-
This is fantastic.
yeah, we're looking at the second one, that's for sure. We're going to start putting in the grant applications.
Yes, sir.
Our young people that worked in our Lego robotics program, we were able, because all of this is about having that inclusion in the home so that you can continue to follow. So each one of those students got a brand new iPad.
Wow.
And they're able to use so that
See?
they can do their programming, their coding and stuff from home and stuff with it. So KUAW Radio, which is a part of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and we're always looking for ways to reach the community more. So as people listen to this, we'd like for you to call in, let us know the things that you'd like to hear on KUAW. We've got shows. We just got through doing a morning show with Pastor L. Recanti, Wake Up KC, if you're listening to that. We've got a young man, Mr. Carlos Carr, that's just started putting out some political, opinion opinion piece would be, but they're going to be running twice a month. We're doing a sports broadcast, which is
Listen
going
to
in
that.
its 4th or 5th year, where you can listen to sports, news, and information. And one of the guys here was a former player and is right now a coach or a scout for the Kansas City Royals. So
Oh,
they
wow.
come in here and do a show on Thursday. You can get some inside information
Now you're talking.
about the games and things that are going on and some of the history of Kansas City sports. So we're doing a lot of things, but we want to do more. We want to just continue to reach the community with partnerships and with the community talking to us.
Yes.
So we need to hear from you guys. You can email us at kuaw985@gmail.com. You can also call at 816-599-6893 and leave a message. If you have an idea, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to hear more of things, just call us, leave us a message there, or email us, or meet us on our Facebook page, KUAW Radio, KUAW-Radio.
Yes.
If you come on that, leave a note there or instant message us from there. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, so we want to hear from you, Kansas City, and not just Kansas City, but the whole region, the whole area.
Yes, indeed.
Because we're talking to a lot of people, and some of the people that come on are from Atlanta or where have you, and we're wanting to serve everybody. So that's kind of what we're going to be going into 2025 with. We may even have been tinkering around in the mind about changing the studio look up a little bit. I said, I don't know if we need to get a sofa or a chair in here to kind of sit and talk more at home,
Yes,
and
sir.
stuff.
Yes, sir.
But we'll look into that as we move forward. But yeah, we got things planned for KUAW going forward.
And once again, how our listeners can access KUAW.
Okay, yes, you can listen to us if you join us on our partnership with KOJH, which is FM station 100.5 in Kansas City, Missouri. You can come in on that on the FM side, or you can listen to us on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter, or X as it is known now, when we do live broadcasts where you can not only listen but watch us also. And then on the audio side, you can pick us up on Get Me Radio, on My Radio Tuner, on the online radio bot, on Radio Garden and at KUAW 985. You can pick us up there 24 hours a day. We broadcast 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. And if you have a smart speaker, you just tell it to play KUAW Radio, and we'll come up on that. You can also get us on Roku and on Fire Stick.
My Lord.
So we are on a lot of ways. This is an internet, international radio station, and we're just carrying this on.
Well, I'll tell you now that DeQuay, we have said more than once, young people learn more by example than they do by instruction, and KUAW is a definite example of a station that reaches out, that touches, that interacts. And by the way, I will put this in the form of a question. As far as becoming participants, there are those listening and watching who can become participants, but how about those who have some ideas that they might like for you to entertain?
Yes, and we're open to conversations, and we'll take it to our group. If you got some ideas out there, if you're an artist, if you're just a community activist or any of that, contact KUAW Radio. If you know somebody that's doing a podcast or would like to do a podcast, we'd like to meet with them, talk, see what they might want to do some broadcasting over KUAW, our airways to our listeners. So we have a lot of listeners. Some of them are older, some of them are younger. But we have a lot of listeners that reach a wide section of not just Kansas City, but of the country. And we'll be glad to work with any group. So any potential podcasters or somebody that maybe just wants to do once a month show, we'd be willing to talk to. And if you have an idea that you would like to be a guest on somebody's show,
yes, sir,
send that to us, and we will get in touch with the show host to see about doing an interview, or if you have a book that you want to kind of promote, or some kind of product that you're trying to do, contact us. We'd like, especially the entrepreneurial people that are doing these ventures that are on their own here.
Absolutely.
We'd love to talk with you, get an interview. How did you come up with that product? How did you come up with that idea? What are the stumbling blocks, and how did you get over them? Because we can pass that information on to other people.
Yes, sir.
You can help others to learn.
And let me tell you why you and I are ecstatic on this December 28th, 2024. We happen to be in the studio with DeQuay Wilson, who remembered a name with which we were grappling, and this is history that occurred right here.
Yes.
At KUAW. What were we talking about, Sister DeQuay?
The 6888.
Yeah.
Yes. The main what's ironic is the main character in the movie is who we had as our guest in studio.
My Lord. Yes. And it is so important because it is not just that we had a celebrity, but this is a very important historical figure who represents a lot more historical figures. And we were privileged, and by the way, while God rest her soul, she has passed away, but there were those who accompanied her who are currently still in their Veterans of Foreign Wars or American Legion or Buffalo Soldiers or whatever the entity was. It might be more than once. So, Brother Louis George Walker, no doubt about the fact that we will try to get them back, not just because we can say, hey, look who we have, but our program is called Wave Your Grades. It's called Wave Your Grades because we deal with students. And if there's anything we want students to be able to do, it is to learn hands-on, to be able to reach out and touch somebody who is a part of history and has been a part of history. And then if somebody comes to me and they talk about robotics, they talk about technology, they talk about competing, they talk about tutoring, can you imagine that we're in the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, the very definition of a mentoring tutorial program, but also having the go ahead, please.
No, you're so right and stuff. And these young people, that connection to the past, to our history.
Man.
Last night was the second night of Kwanzaa.
Yes, sir.
Kujichagulia.
Kujichagulia.
I get it out. That's easy for you to say. But self-determination.
Yes.
And to be able to be determined, you have to know your history, know where you come from, to know where you're going.
Yes.
And to set the road. I met some young ladies there last night, and I have to get you their names, but they formed a group. They go to schools to help work with students that have faced any discrimination in the school system.
Oh, is that right?
And this is a group of young people helping young people. Yes, and they've been to a couple of schools already and stuff.
Fantastic.
So I said, yeah, we need to get in touch with you guys and talk with y'all. But they've got an organization that they're working under. Another organization, they haven't got their 501c3 yet. But and I can't think of the name now. I picked up their little booklet that they were giving out yesterday, but I said, yeah, we need to talk to them and see about getting them to come in.
Absolutely, because this is something that people really need to know about and participate in. And it's interesting that you talked about young people, because my service with Synergy Services is no longer formal, but I was conducting classes, and I call my classes Teach Me You. And I would suggest, for instance, I was 15 in 1957. What is 15 in 2024? Well, we happen to have a group of just about 15 young people between the ages of 12 and 20, and I mentioned something about the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba. Now, these are young people I don't know, so when I go in, I get to know them with this. So I just happened to mention that, and I'm all set to help them to understand what it was. And there was a 15-year-old young African-American male sitting across from me, and he said, Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, and creativity, and that's faith. But Umoja, Kujichagulia, Ujima, Ujama, Nia, and faith is Imani. I'm sorry, but what's number 6?
Boy, I'd have to look it up.
Before this program is over, we're going to say what number 6 is, and this young man did it just that way.
Ran straight through it.
He almost. So he and I. So that is. And the celebration of Kwanzaa is going on right now. It is going on today. Now remember, DeQuay Wilson, I was talking about, I looked at a former program at how I was hesitatingly going about my business in KUAW, which is creativity. And Imani is faith. So Nia is purpose. I guess I should have said it that way. Umoja is unity. Kujichagulia is self-determination. Ujima is collective work and responsibility. Ujama is economics, cooperative economics. Then Kaumba is creativity. Nia is purpose. Kaumba is creativity. And Imani is faith. Well, anyway, when you got me on Kwanzaa, the idea, though, is that here would be the opportunity. As I am grappling with that, there are enough people right around here whom we could call upon, and we didn't even give out the phone number for today's program. We're going to do that every program, 2025, 816-599-6893, 816-599-6893, in case you want to call in and correct anything that needs correcting on today's program. But what I was also going to do is think about just a couple of our guests, 2024. So we talked about Anthony Butler, but one of our very special guests in 2024 just happened to be Leon Dixon. Now, when you talk about history, when you talk about the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and when you talk about somebody who is very soft-spoken. He is not the type of person who jumps in front of you to take a photo, but this is a person who is steeped in history and again in integrity. And when you talk about the founding of the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Centers, he was one of our very special guests. One of the programs I thought about looking back after the gentleman wasn't able to make it was when Valencia brought us Paris Holly, Jakila, TJ, Xavier, Heaven. These are young people participating at a very high level. And by the way, we were talking and kind of boasting about the fact that they would react to the guests we had. And let me not forget to mention that oftentimes the Smart Club is responsible for the agenda, for what we're talking about, the subject matter on the program. So as Louis George Walker has helped those who are with us to understand that you can call in, you can ask, you can forward your ideas for a program, we can say without any shadow of a doubt, the Smart Club is very exemplary where that is concerned.
Yes.
Another guest, Willetta McGee, for instance, was on with the young people, and that was good because we were talking about the election. We were talking about politics. There are very few things to which our young people cannot be exposed on Wave Your Grades. DeQuay Wilson, we did not do a break. We can do our break announcement and go right on with last Saturday in 2024.
That's right.
When we come back, let me know what's on your mind.
Well, I want to let our 7th through 12th grade students know that you can win a monetary award from our sponsoring organization. Yes, we do say organization on purpose, with purpose. Stutes for Boots. Your essay title will be Heroes You Know You Didn't Know Were Heroes. Your contents will identify a veteran at your school, who can be absolutely anyone. Teacher, custodian, coach, absolutely anyone. If your essay is chosen and submitted by an adult who gives you permission to read it on this Wave Your Grades program, you will be awarded a monetary prize. Please send entry or inquiry to, well, it's not stutesforboots@gmail.com anymore, is it?
You know what? As a matter of fact, let me give you some letters. ACPAT KUAW 2024 AOL.com at AOL.com.
Huh. I didn't know you had changed.
Yeah, now, and that's right, you weren't in here. I was apologizing for my technical difficulties, and I was saying my technology owes you an apology because I have not been able to communicate either by my computer, and interestingly enough, having difficulty with text messages with my telephone at the same time that I'm having problems with emails on the computer.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So when I did my column, You Are Not Alone, the reason I used that title is because I was saying that if I were to ask somebody if they had experienced, here's an example, tech support. Tech support gives you a menu of 12 things, and not one of them is what you called them. And if that has happened to you, I'm saying you are not alone. When you are out of pocket and you want to get back into your computer, it gives you a code word. Now, the problem is your emails. So where do they send the code word? To your email that you can't open. If that's ever happened to you, you are not alone.
Okay.
So the whole idea about this column was to offer an apology for the 6 or 7 people who might be listening who have tried to make contact and have made it that difficult that now. And by the way, I guess I should say the temporary, because we'll have our board meeting and we'll make a determination as to what is best as far as an address is concerned. But this is what happened, and this is also interesting. I decided to go to AOL. So when I did ACPAT, which is Academic Patriotism, so it's AC,
Okay.
PAT, and then KUAW, I put the year 2024. Now, I'm messing things up now. I'm going to confuse the issue. But the idea was to say ACPAT KUAW 2024 at AOL.com. So the address they gave me was ACPAT KUAW 2024 AOL.com at AOL.com. Now, thank you very much. The idea is to make things simpler, and this is what I ended up with.
It can get you at times.
I mean, it is very interesting. And by the way, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it's a never-ending learning process.
Right.
And you have to be ready for that, because the frustration and stuff, because I firsthand, I can tell you that as I was trying to do this site I was just telling you about,
Yes,
where
sir.
you'd be able to order your T-shirts. I've been wrestling with that for 3-4 days.
You are not alone.
Don't have it totally together. It said, you're using these people to print up your T-shirts and stuff. They said, well, you can connect with Square that will handle the payments through it and stuff. I've been trying to get them two together. It says log in, do this, and
Yes,
I do it
sir.
stuff. So I got it enough where I had the pictures on there, but it definitely is not where you're ready to order anything right now off of that. And that's been days. I was reading. I went back through it. I did it again. I did this. I took everything out, put it back in again.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
And I'm like, well, I'm not seeing any connection. And then I came up, I got a link and put it in there, and all the pictures jumped up. I said, well, that's good enough for now. They can put that
Absolutely.
in there. We'll figure out how to make it work, but at least I can show the people what's on there. But it can get, technology can get frustrating.
And go ahead.
And as I was working with the seniors on the basic computer class,
Yes.
you find out, and that was one of the things I was telling them, is you're going to have a level of frustration. Sometimes you have to back away from it,
That's
but you
it.
don't give up.
That's it.
You just have to try. You have to ask some people. I said, you got to Google. You got to do different things like that, because they were, just creating new email accounts and
Yes.
logging in the computer the second day after they put in the password the first day. And I thought I put it in this way. And it was like, okay, and I said, these are things that are going to come up with you from now on, but you just have to keep working with it. You ask somebody
Absolutely.
and try to move forward.
And you see, and that is next, and that's why I suspect that we should say that ACPAT KUAW 2024 AOL.com at AOL.com is definitely temporary. But
Yeah.
here's the advantage that we have, DeQuay, as parts of Students of Boots. We are here at the Learning Center. We are in a place where the help can come and we can learn what's going on at the same time. Because one of the things that I did was accept, and this has been a couple of years now, was to accept someone else's computer as a gift. Okay, so now, as I am attempting to retrieve data that is peculiar to my address, if I hit download, someone else's information comes up because it was a gift, but all of the information was not removed from the last owner.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously now, while I say facetiously with a grin and a little laugh that I'm looking forward to that new computer and that class and all of that, but something like that will happen. So DeQuay, after our next board meeting, we'll have a whole new layout. But thank you for saying that, because that person would have been looking for Students for Boots, and it would have come back not able to send. So there's just the whole life's experience. And by the way, this is another way that I get an opportunity to interact with young people more familiar with the technology than I might be. And these are the kinds of things that help our young people keep walking and keep growing, because at the same time that DeQuay Wilson was learning about those financial kinds of things with David Whalen, young people get an opportunity to learn at the same time. So we can say that we are blessed to have
Absolutely.
KUAW.org. 816-599-6893. And one of the things that I don't know exactly how we're going to do it. We're going to be more interactive in this year. But I use the term holiday, HOLLA, holla, holiday. And I want the young people to use the morning messages as a holiday. Here's an example. DeQuay Wilson, when is your birthday?
September 16th.
So that would be your holiday, and I would ask that the students holler to their fellow students, their peers. And this is an acronym. Thanks for enhancing our vocabulary. So then I spell it. B is for veterans. O, older. C, civilians. Veterans and older civilians, AB, are being uplifted, learning about rehabilitated youth. So it would be cumbersome just to say it, but if it is posted, then that's your holla. When is Louis George Walker's birthday?
4/14.
Now,
April 14th.
April 14th.
Just before the text.
What are we? And
Mine ain't on birthday. I'm trying to get this day taxes there.
so April 14th, Louis George Walker this is your holla. You can get a night of rest before you take the test, because a warrior cannot. So that each of these is students paying attention to what the
Amen. Amen.
March 3rd, what is mine? Among students and teachers, respect all around for those volunteering to be boots on the ground. So that we can use in many ways the opportunity to communicate. And I think that we DeQuay Wilson and Carl Boyd, must be very careful not for any moment to take for granted the service provided by Louis George Walker
Absolutely.
and KUAW, because how many years can you go before a member of the 6888 is in your studio? I mean,
You gotta look her up too.
I mean, the opportunity to have that and that be a part of your experience, but also when Louis George Walker informs those who are with us as to how they can access the program, then that also says you can look it up later. So you don't have to have been there in the studio on that particular day. KUAW has a way to make that a part of your own personal history. That's a blessing.
Absolutely it is.
Amen.
So it is with that kind of thing in mind that I say that while we certainly miss our very special guest for today's program, and I have certainly hiccuped and coughed and found a way to try to remember the 7 principles of the Nguzo Saba, yet it is a blessing that the Lord gives us this opportunity to say these thank yous at the end of the year. I've said a few. Louis George Walker and DeQuay, you did, but anybody to whom you want to say thank you or any remarks for the end of the year that you would like to make?
Oh, I would like to thank the board of WEB, the Boys Learning Center, for making this space available to KUAW Radio. So Miss Tamara Sykes, Harrison, all of those that have helped keep the doors open. And I know it's not easy at this location, but I want to thank you for allowing us to use this space to be able to broadcast KUAW Radio, and all of our supporters and friends throughout the years, our volunteers, our members. We just want to say thank you for another year with the BFTAA KUAW, which has been going on for 20 years now.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we're just glad of all the support that we've had, and I want to say thank you. And we're looking forward to 2025.
Yes, sir. And as a matter of fact, to 20 more.
To 20 more. That's right. That's right.
God bless you. This is such an opportunity. It is such a pleasure. It is such an important contribution to what is going to be going on in the near future. When we look at the political climate that we find ourselves in on a real basis, genuine basis, the ability to communicate and have people offer things from which others can benefit, this is an honor. This is just an honor. So we thank you for that very much. And as we get ready to close the program, Sister DeQuay, any closing remarks?
Well, I want to say that this has been an amazing way to close out the year, despite us not having our very special guest. It's been
Right.
an amazing show to close out the year. Because we are out of time, my last thank you for the show. I want to thank our listeners for joining us on your Stoots for Boots Wave Your Grades program.
Amen is right.
We come to you live on Saturday, usually every Saturday from 1 until 2 p.m. Central Standard Time from the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center right here in Kansas City, Missouri. I am your announcer, DeQuay Wilson. Now our host, Carl Boyd, will close with, it looks like his daily message for today's daily message for students in honor of our veterans from his book, Morning Messages.
Thank you so very, very much. DeQuay Wilson, Louis George Walker, thank you. And to students across the USA, your Stoots for Boots message for this day, December 28th. Do your best for those who protect us. To do less would not be fair. When you study to match their excellence, our heroes know that you care. Do your best for those who protect us. To do less would not be fair. When you study to match their excellence, our heroes know that you care. This is Wave Your Grades, KUAW.org. My name is Carl Boyd. Gracious God and wonderful Wanda,